Welcome. We are starting chapter 7.6 today, talking about business ethics, which is a pretty huge topic to discuss. When it comes to business, it does matter who you know. That's a saying you might hear. If you know the right people, you can, you know, get the right job or make the right sale or do all sorts of things. But it is also very important how you behave and how ethical you are. So there are laws out there. We know there's laws like I can only drive so fast down a certain road. Okay, that means it is right or wrong. If I go 1 mile an hour over, I'm technically breaking that law, and if I'm beneath that limit, then I'm technically within the limit of that law. Okay, what about the behaviors though that are not necessarily, there's not a rule written for it. It's not perfectly black and white, either right or wrong. And when you get into those scenarios, that's when you start to think about ethics. So ethics are a standard of morals that individuals and groups set for themselves, defining what behavior they value as right or wrong. So ethical behavior is closely linked to personal values. So your own personal ethics in life, you all have your own personal ethics in life. Some of you might do something and not feel bad about it, where another person, if they did the exact same thing, they would feel guilty. And even if you're not breaking a law or anything like that, that's where you kind of look at your own personal values and your own personal ethics, and those may vary from person to person. So if we want to decide whether an action is ethical or not, we have to ask questions like, is this right or wrong, regardless of what the laws state. So it's kind of that gut instinct of, this feels right, this feels wrong. I don't think I'm going to get in trouble for it, but it just feels wrong. Then that's questioning, where your ethics lie. A collection of principles and rules that define right and wrong conduct for a company is what we call business ethics. So it's the exact same thing as your own personal ethics. It's just, instead of your kind of moral compass, it's the company's decision on what they consider ethical or not. So if there's anything that doesn't fall into these principles, then it would be considered unethical behavior. And within business, just like people, not every company sees the same thing as being ethical or unethical, so they have their own rules. So what applies or works at one company may not fly at the other one. You may be able to do something at one business that you'd get in trouble for at another business. So I guess an example I might say here, if it's a car dealership, one car dealership may believe that aggressive sales techniques are the best ways to get a sale. So the salespeople there may be trained to really push and try to get you to buy a car and just keep on going and going and going and try to talk you into it. They're not breaking any laws, but that's their own belief. Where another car dealership may say, you know what, we think we would do better business if a car salesman here or salesperson is not pushy. They back off. They take a different approach. By not being as aggressive, the customer may feel more comfortable, and in the long run, in their belief, they may get more sales. So again, they're also not, there's no laws being broken. It's just their own practices of what they think is right or wrong. So notions of right and wrong vary from manager to manager, business to business, and country to country. Generally, moral conduct that is favorable to the largest number of people is considered ethically desirable. So that's kind of an equality type of idea, is that a general purpose is you want to make sure what you're doing isn't going to hurt, is going to hurt the smallest amount of people possible, hopefully nobody, but the smaller that number is kind of considered more ethical. So it's about the largest number of people and how favorable your behavior is to that large number of people.